Does it have to be in MLA format?
Yep.
May I use the restroom real quickly?
Is it an emergency?
I mean, I have to go pee pretty bad.
All right, I guess we got.
Thank you.
All right, I am on practice test 2. I'm going to go ahead and, do I have all the quizzes? I'm going to go ahead and do this, the last 2 word problems first. We'll start on the back page. Okay? So here we go. Jane can build a shelter in 4 hours. Maurice can build one in 6. How long does it take them to build it together? 1 over alone plus 1 over alone equals 1 over together. All right, here we go. Jane is 4. Maurice is 6. And together, together is, I don't know, right? So here we go. Everybody okay with the setup? How do I solve that? I'm going to multiply by something. Now, I heard somebody say 12x. That's a great choice. Is it the only choice? No. Could somebody else have used 24? Which is a logical choice because you got 4 and 6. So somebody might say 24x. That will work also. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 6 goes into 12 2 times. The x's cancel and leave me with 12. So 5x equals 12 and x equals 12 fifths. What's my unit? Hours. So a little more than 2 hours is how long it would take them to do it together. Since you have a calculator, if you want to answer that as a decimal, you can. 12 fifths is fine, but so is the decimal. All right, we okay with that? All right, letter B. Here's our mixture. Amount times percent plus amount times percent equals amount times percent, right? So here we go. How much 54 should be mixed with 6 quarts of 45 to get a 49% solution? Is everybody okay with that? X plus 6 gives me a total of x plus 6. All right, so this is where I might need my calculator. 6 times 45, is that 2.7? Equal to 0.49x plus, what's that? 2.94? Please double check my arithmetic. So 0.05x equals, this problem looks awfully familiar. Is it the quiz question? So x equals, anybody remember where that came out to be? 4.8.
4.8.
And that was quarts.
Oh, did you get points again? You forgot to put gallons.
It's quarts. Yeah.
Anybody have a question about that? You okay, James?
What?
You okay?
Wait, so did you get points taken off? Did the label?
A half.
Okay.
Okay. Now, problem D. Problem D. did I do as I copied the problem? I moved everything over to one side. Why did I do that? Because I gotta have a 0. In an inequality, I have to have a 0. And a number line. I'm not ready for that yet. But those are the two things I have to have. If you have an inequality, you gotta have a 0 and you gotta have a number line at some point. But I can't do anything with the number line because what do I not have? My factors. I need to do my synthetic division. I think 1 works. Let's try 1. Sure enough. This is problem D on practice test 2. Okay, is everybody okay? Everybody up to par here? All right, what happens now? Megan Sloan, I'm going to take that iPad. What do I do now? Very good, Mackenzie. Thank you for paying attention. That factors, doesn't it? Here is the biggest mistake that's made.
Don't forget the 1, Bull.
Don't forget the 1. Out here, you have to have a 1. What would that factor be? X minus 1. Beautiful. This number is the number that goes on the number line. Because 1 goes on the number line. I just got done saying that. What goes on the number line here? -2. The number that goes on the number line is the opposite of the factors. Oh, Bryce. I can't take that quiz now. You still want the problem in class. You'll have to make it up. Okay.
Wait, what just happened? She's the problem. So.
This is the number that goes on the number line. So the factor will be the opposite of it. These are the two factors that came out of this thing that Kenzie gave us. So the dots on the number line are the opposite of those. Now what does this mean? I know, it says less than 0, but what does that mean? Negative. So I want these 3 things to be times together and be negative. So here's 0, right? In here 0. Let's see what happens with 0. 0 would make this factor negative. It would make this one positive and this one positive. What happens when I multiply a negative times a positive times a positive?
It's going to be negative.
It's going to be exactly what I wanted, right?
Yep.
So that means where the 0 is colored. Now, is anything else colored? This, right? Because we go every other one. When do I not go every other one? If you have a square. None of these are square.
You're also going to have 2 answers.
So I'm going to have 2 answers. And the answers are going to be everything less than -3 or everything everything between -2 and 1. Everything in this little section right here. Those are my 2 answers. That's probably the hardest question on the test.
Really?
Well, because you have to do so many things.
I kind of like this one. Not gonna lie.
All right, let's look at E. E says 2 over x plus 3 over 4 equals 9 over 8. Is this an inequality? No. No number line. No 0. This is not an inequality. I need to get rid of these fractions. What can I multiply by to get rid of those fractions? 8x. Are there other things I could multiply by? Yeah, but 8x is the smallest. I'm not going to mark it wrong if you use 32 or 16. I don't care. But you have to multiply by something that will cancel every denominator. So I have 16 plus 6x equal to 9x. The x's cancel. 4 goes into 8 twice, leaving me with 3 times 2. 8 cancels, leaving me with 9x. So 16 equals 3x, and x equals 16 thirds. F is exactly like that, except bigger. Is this an inequality? Please don't get 0. Please don't draw a number line. What are we going to do?
Factor.
Factor this guy right here. We always want to factor our denominators. If they factor.
What?
Here we go. What's our common denominator? X plus 3, x plus 5. So I will multiply everything by x plus 3, x plus 5. What happens? What they do that for?
To get all the denominators to go bye-bye.
Exactly. All the denominators are going to go bye-bye. What am I left with here? When I cancel out the x plus 5s, I'm left with 2x squared plus 6x. All of this is gone. Be careful. Minus x squared plus x plus 10. Because the minus here distributes through. This whole thing is being minus. So it's minus x squared plus x plus 10. Equal to what? 3x plus 15.
So,
These add up to, let's take care of these, they add up to x squared plus 7x plus 10. How do I solve something like that? First, I have to set it equal to 0. And then hopefully I can factor it. If not, I can use the quadratic formula. But this one does factor. So x equals -5 or positive 1?
yes.
Beep, 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 beep.
Extraneous.
Wait, no, it's supposed to be.
What happens if I put -5 in right here?
Come on, Bird.
Zero.
So I gotta cross that one off, and the only answer to the problem is 1.
That was the wrong problem.
That's the wrong problem. Okay? Now, Chad just pointed something out. If you count, just count the number of problems on this test, there aren't very many.
They're precise.
But they're big, which means they're going to be worth lots of
Points.
So you really need to know your stuff, because if you leave one blank, it'll be bad. Okay, now, I don't know how much time we have left. Look at the first 2 pages.
I'll check for you.
I don't care, doesn't matter.
All right.
Look at the first 2 pages, the front and the back here. Is there anything you want to do for sure before we run out of time?
Wait, I just have a question on number B on number 2.
2B?
Yeah, like why it's not filled in the middle.
All right. Let's take a look
I'll
at
try it.
2B.
Hey. Wait.
Step 1, 2B. Step 1. Subtract 3. Step 2. Get a common denominator. So I got to multiply this by x plus 2 over x plus 2.
Minus 2.
Well, minus 2, yeah. So what's my new
X plus
numerator?
X, or
You
you
did
can
3x plus
You know what?
4x.
Stop it, right now. Numerator is x plus 4 minus 3x plus 6. Watch that. So negative 2x plus 10 over x minus 2.
Yep.
Now, at this point, I go to my number line, right? And the denominator is easy to see. Where will the dot be for the denominator? 2. That's easy. The top is harder to see. So remember I told you before that if you can't tell because there's too much stuff there, go ahead and over to the side, just set it equal to 0 and solve it. So take your numerator, I'm not sure where to put the dot. So I'm going to set it equal to 0, and it's going to tell me where to put the dot. The dot's going to go at 5. So I have one at 2, that was easy to tell, and now I have one at 5. Now, the greater than or equal to would indicate that those dots should be filled in. But we never fill in the denominator dot. So we'll go ahead and fill in the 5, but we are not going to fill in the 2. I like to try 0. 0's out here this time. I'm gonna try 0. When I put 0 in, the top would be a positive number, and the bottom would be a negative number. So if I have positive over negative, does that give me greater than 0? No. So that doesn't work, and my answer has to be everything in between 2 and 5.
The only reason there's not a line underneath that 2 is because of the
Yep. It's not filled in.
No, she did not.
All right, does anybody see A and C and the front page are left? Does anybody see anything there that is,
I didn't know.
well, that's your homework.
Well, I mean, I looked at it. I like Safari. I have Safari, so I didn't know I get mobile.
Where was he looking at that? Like, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't know.